I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be being able to walk away and why it creates attraction. One of the things I want to talk about in this video obviously is going to be attachments. Because a big reason why a lot of guys fail with women is they become emotionally attached, either to the object of their affection or to her showing up in his life in a certain way that he feels she should be within a certain period of time. And when the guy doesn't see that happens, he gets antsy, he becomes needy, he starts to chase, he starts to pursue because he thinks that he needs to do something in order to make him want her more. But in reality, his chasing and pursuing is demonstrating not only to her but the universe that basically he feels he doesn't deserve to have what it is that he wants. Because if he felt like he deserved it, he would hang back, he would chill out, and he'd have a take it or leave it kind of approach towards it. And I've got an email here from a viewer who, obviously, he was dating a girl, and she was on a rebound, and she ended up going back to the ex-boyfriend, even though things were starting to progress with her and him initially, just because he became too attached. And when you're dealing with a girl who has broken up with a boyfriend who she maybe has several years that she's been with, and you just met her, 9 times out of 10, she's always going to choose the guy that she has more time with just because she has a deeper emotional connection and bond to him just because of the amount of time that they were together previously. And so you've got to, I see this all the time, you've got to love the other person in such a way that they feel free. And if they don't feel free, women are going to naturally gravitate to whoever displays the most traits and characteristics of a dominant male. So he says, I'd like to ask a question that's come to mind from when I've been watching your videos. You say when a girl is wavering between two guys to say to her, if it doesn't work out, get back to me. Doesn't this help her to see you as a backup plan? Well, the thing you got to understand is there's a reason why the ex-boyfriend of hers is the ex-boyfriend. She didn't dump him or get rid of him or break up with him because he was doing everything right. She basically broke up with the guy because he wasn't treating her properly and she wasn't having a good time, and she just didn't feel the relationship was progressing to any kind of destination that was to her liking. And so therefore she chooses to leave the relationship so she can find somebody who is more like what she wants. And so she started dating you, in this case, and she felt that initially, but when a woman backs off and starts going sideways and goes back to the other guy, when she had been coming to you successfully, it's either A, you did something wrong, or B, this other guy had been in the picture all along. And that's why whenever you're dealing with a situation where the ex is still kind of unsure, still kind of dating her ex-boyfriend or whatever, you've just got to hang back, go about your life, make a once-a-week date, and just follow the plan that I teach in my book. And if you have a chance with her, and this other ex-boyfriend doesn't have a strong hold on her, then as she gravitates away from him and towards you, she'll keep moving towards you to the point where she starts chasing and pursuing you more, and then she'll become more emotionally attached and attracted to you than him because she knows what she's going to get with him. But when you're comparing the two together and you're constantly making beta male mistakes and the ex is acting more like an alpha male, she's always going to go back to him. He says, so would that encourage her to use you as a fallback? It doesn't really matter one way or another, because the thing that you got to understand about women in relationships is that you have to be with somebody who wants you. You want to be with somebody who reciprocates interest, not somebody where you're making 80% of the effort and then they're only making 20% of the effort. Or you're making 90% of the effort and the other person's making 10% of the effort. Now, women can, in a healthy relationship, they'll be doing 70-80% of the calling, texting, and pursuing, but when they're together, both of them make the effort. And what I'm talking about is a situation where a lot of guys that I get emails from get themselves into, and I used to do this shit when I was younger as well, is they get themselves into situations with women, they start chasing and start pursuing to the point where she never has enough time and space and freedom away from him to develop strong emotional feelings or strong emotional desire because he's doing so much pursuing and he's taking so much action trying to force things to happen quicker than they're going to happen. So he says if she's with another guy, she could say he's referring to a pickup line, or I say the article that I wrote a while back called "The Best Comebacks Ever." He's referring to one of them here that I put in there, and he says if she's dating another guy and she says, "Well, I'm still kind of seeing my ex-boyfriend," you just simply say, "Well, I don't care about him. He can keep you busy when you're with me." Or if a girl says, "Hey, I got a boyfriend," like, "I don't care. He can keep you busy when you're not with me." I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of women that are unhappy in relationships, and if you're just looking to hook up and have casual, non-attached sex, there's a lot of women that will cheat on their boyfriends. The danger, obviously, is getting caught and also getting involved with a girl who starts to become emotionally attached to where she starts gravitating towards you and away from the boyfriend. But the thing you got to understand is if she's willing to cheat on the boyfriend and run around behind his back with you, then if you were ever in that situation, you become lazy, you become complacent, get caught up in your job, your career, whatever it happens to be, she's going to go and do those same things to you that she did to the other guy. And at the end of the day, you've got to give women the space to choose you as well, because we obviously know that you like her because you're writing to me about her. And when she reaches out to you or you call her once a week to ask her out for a date, that's you making the effort. And that's all the effort that you need to make. And usually by the third or fourth week, if you just call a girl that you just met and you take her out once a week, or you meet up for drinks once a week or whatever, if you do more things right than wrong, usually by the third or fourth week, she'll start calling you, she'll start texting you, she'll start reaching out to you more, and this will make it really simple for you. It's just go, "Hey, great to hear from you. I'd love to see you again. When are you free to get together?" And then you make your next date. And then what happens is then she calls you a few days later after that date. Same thing. "Hey, I was thinking about you. Had a really great time again the other night. I really love hanging out with you. I really love seeing you." And "Great, me too. I had a blast. I want to see you again. When are you free?" And you just make your next date. And that creates a pattern of basically when she calls you, you arrange the next date, and then you get off the phone. That helps you remain mysterious and a challenge, because she's got to wonder what you're doing and what you're up to until you guys get together. And the idea is that scientific fact that women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. So you give them the space to wonder about you and to be okay with the fact that you may lose him to another guy, because at the end of the day, a guy who perceives himself as a catch is just going to say, hey, if she goes back to the ex-boyfriend or she chooses another guy, it's her loss. And the only way she'll choose another guy over you is if it's an ex and she's more emotionally attached, or you screwed up and you drove her away. But at the end of the day, if you do everything right and she had a high level of interest in you and attraction to start out with, then over time, over the course of several weeks and several months, she'll eventually, after about 2 months or so of this, should be, if you've done more things right than wrong, she should be head over heels in love with you. And at that point, she'll be calling you and texting you 2-3 times a day, and then you're going to pretty much be together. You'll see her, you'll be waking up with her in the morning, and then at night when you get home, she'll be coming over late at night, bringing a bottle of wine or some whipped cream or some strawberries and chocolate or some kind of little fun surprise that you guys can come up with creative ways to utilize those sweet treats in the bedroom to spice up your love life. But I know it's counterintuitive because you're basically saying don't pursue, but the problem is that guys that are making mistakes, that are blowing chances with women that they really like, the problem is they're pursuing too much. They're acting too much like women who are unsure of themselves instead of guys who have busy careers, busy lives, busy businesses, they're an entrepreneur, they're traveling, whatever it happens to be. And so when they're not talking to a chick, they're focused on their purpose in life. They may be thinking about her from time to time, but hey, he's going to see her tomorrow night on his date, so he really isn't, there's nothing he can really do, because you can only cause a woman to fall in love with you by spending time together in person. And so I know it's counterintuitive, but like I said, it creates attraction. And like I said, there's scientific studies they've done where they realize that the women are more attracted to guys whose feelings are unclear. Guys who they date and go out with, who they're constantly unsure of whether or not the guy's going to call or whether or not he really feels the same way. And then they get together and she kind of expresses the fact that she's unsure of herself. And he just grabs her and hugs her and kisses her and says, "Baby, I adore you. What are you talking about? How you been?" And they go and have a great date together, and they have great fun together. And then she thinks to herself, "Oh, it was just so silly of me to be that way." And so she's unsure, but when she gets around him, he reassures her through his actions and the words that he says and the things that they do together. So if you have a question you want to ask me, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which will be on the left-hand side of your screen. Send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max, and just give me several weeks to get back to you with a response. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, on my website, underneath the email sign-up box, is a box that has a link that will take you right to the Amazon Kindle download page for my book. Once you get there, if you don't have a Kindle device, just download one of their free e-reader apps for whatever electronic device you want to read my book on. And if you appreciate the value of the information I offer in these video newsletters, the articles on my website, or my ebook, you can show your appreciation right now by going to my website, and on the Wibia toolbar at the bottom of your screen, click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information. And I will talk to you soon.